How are we doing, Tate's Take subscribers? This is your host, Jeff Tate. And hey, we got a surprise show today, but I just felt like it called for it. Today, a big thing happened in the college football world. We got our first AP poll, and the AP poll is definitely the poll that I would say your general public go off of, and I think is the best poll. Even, when we get into the college football playoff, that poll is still obviously for your playoff rankings and all that. You have to go with the college football playoff rankings. But for until we get to then, the AP poll is where it's at, and we're really excited for this first poll to be released today, Monday, August 11th. And so we had to do a show. We had to get a show out there. And I'm excited to talk a little bit about this AP poll and what kind of jumped out in my mind for it. As always, please subscribe to the show. We got to 8. Okay, I asked to get to 10. There's a lot of people I know are watching this just not subscribing. That's okay, especially some people don't know how to use YouTube. I didn't know how to use YouTube for a very long time. But if you could take a quick 10 to 20 seconds, go to the channel. It's Tate's Take JT. It's going to take some time for me to pop up, right when you search Tate's Take into YouTube. But as time goes on, as views get up, as subscribers get up, and as just more shows happen, it'll increase. So if you don't mind, please take a minute out of your day, subscribe to the channel, and then you can see every show we post. And let me tell you, we're getting into the nitty-gritty time where we are almost at the season. The shows are only going to go up from here. I have a lot of ideas for preview episodes heading into each week with cool graphics being designed and made right now. So tune in, get it subscribed, and you'll get all the notifications. And it's the best time right now to do it. So subscribe if you get the chance. So today, the AP poll was announced, and we have 25 teams ranked, and then they also give us teams receiving votes. Every week you'll get a new poll once the season begins. But what really jumped out is who was number one. For some people, I am an Ohio State fan. I thought Ohio State would be number one. A lot of time your defending national champion is number one. However, that's not the case here. Let me read through the top 25. I'm also going to be putting it up on the you're going to be watching it here. I'm introducing some graphics, so we'll also have it on this show so you can see it. So number 1, Texas. Number 2, Penn State. Surprise a lot of people. We'll get to that in a second. 3, Ohio State. 4, Clemson. 5, Georgia. 6, Notre Dame. 7, Oregon. 8, Alabama. 9, LSU. 10, Miami. That's our top 10. 11 through 20 is Arizona State at 11, Illinois 12, South Carolina 13, Michigan 14, Florida 15, SMU 16, Kansas State 17, Oklahoma 18, Texas A&M 19, Indiana 20, and then we got Ole Miss 21, Iowa State 22, Texas Tech 23, Tennessee 24, and Boise State 25. And then the top 5 teams that receive votes in the AP poll, and they do a lot of, essentially these are the ones that got the most votes that did not make it. BYU would be 26, Utah 27, Baylor 28, Louisville 29, and USC 30. So that is our top 25 plus 5. There's actually a lot of services that do rank their teams that way. They'll go my top 25 plus 5. So right off the bat, Texas number 1. I think they deserve it. I do. They lost to Ohio State in the semifinals last year. It was an all-time classic. They do lose a lot of good pieces that I don't think people are fully realizing. They lose their quarterback in Quinn Ewers, but I know everybody wanted Arch to be the starter there. They also lose a really good receiver in Matthew Golden. He was a first-round pick to the Packers. They have to replace a lot of talent at the defensive end as well, but they got guys like Arch Manning. They bring back both running backs. They have such a deep team there that number 1 makes sense coming into this year. Penn State being 2 instead of Ohio State shocked me. It did. I thought that the voters would look at the track record of James Franklin, and he never wins a game that he's not favored in. His historical record against Ohio State and Michigan is horrible, and quite honestly, number 2 is not deserving over Ohio State. And so I was surprised by that. I thought Ohio State would be they'd be either 1 or 2. Texas and Ohio State I thought were 1 and 2, and I thought that was a no doubter. But Penn State is number 2. Ohio State's number 3. The reason Ohio State's 3 is they lose so much NFL draft talent and they have to replace their quarterback position. But in my opinion, they have their 2 best players from last year's team coming back, the 2 best players in the country. So I thought they'd be number 2. They are not. Who cares? It's just a poll. Ohio State plays Texas week 1. If Ohio State beats Texas, they're going to be number 1, and that's reality. So Clemson 4, Georgia 5. Nothing, no concerns there. Clemson probably a little higher than people might have thought, but they have Cade Klubnik. It's kind of a make it or break it year in a weird way, I would say, for Dabo Swinney. I think Dabo has had some down years here, and I see them. He's obviously not getting fired, guys. I'm not saying Dabo Swinney's getting fired, but this is a big year for him. And then Georgia being 5, no problems with that. Got no problem with Notre Dame 6, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Miami rounding out top 10. Really no surprises there. The breakdown doesn't surprise me either. 10 SEC teams made the first poll. 40%, I can't say I'm too surprised given that the SEC has 16 teams and the SEC also is the best conference. And even though Ohio State and Michigan have won out of the Big Ten the last 2 years, I still think all around SEC is the best conference. They got Texas at 1, Georgia at 5, Alabama at 8, LSU at 9. They have South Carolina 13, Florida 15, Oklahoma 18, Texas A&M 19, Ole Miss 20, and Tennessee 24. Or Ole Miss 21, Tennessee 24. So nothing really there for me jumps out. Big Ten has 6 teams. Penn State 2, Ohio State 3, Oregon 7. Yes, Oregon is in the Big Ten for those that might forget that. Michigan 14, Illinois 12. Sorry, jumped the gun there. And then you also have Indiana at 20. 4 Big 12 teams, 3 ACC teams, and then we got Notre Dame and Boise State from the group of 5. So I would say the biggest surpriser for me actually is Illinois outside of the top 3 debate. Illinois being 12, good for Brett Bielema, Luke Altmaier's there. They have a lot of returning players. I gave them out on the last episode, if you listened, as over 8.5 wins. I think they can get to 9-3. Clearly, the AP poll voters like this Illinois team, and I'm all in on that. I think that's awesome. I think Illinois deserves it. Indiana being 20, I'm a little surprised by that, but a lot of that was what he did last year, and it's hard to have a playoff team, I would say, last year and not have them be in the top 25 poll. Every AP team this year that started the year, all the teams that were in the playoff last year also made it into the AP poll this year. So I think that's probably fair given how the season ended. You don't think Indiana should drop all the way out. I'm not as high on Indiana this year as being a top 25 team. Michigan at 14, I thought they were a little lower than I thought. Given how last year's team was and how they ended with big wins against Ohio State and Alabama, thought they could be potentially a top 10 team, but there are still a lot of uncertainties in Ann Arbor with Bryce Underwood and Sherrone Moore just not, I guess, being viewed obviously in a winning or a successful head coach mindset yet. Yes, he had a winning season in his first year, but didn't exactly impress a lot of people from the record standpoint. Won the Ohio State game, won the Alabama game, and that really probably took him off a potential hot seat. So that's our top 25 poll. I'm going to put it up again here for you right here. As you can see, there's a lot of teams that receive votes, but at the same time, this is what we get. Cool thing here, ladies and gentlemen, we have a top 25 matchup in week 0. Iowa State, Kansas State, they're both ranked. I'm super excited that the pollsters did that because that's awesome. Like the fact that we get a top 25 game to start the year, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to talk to you about that next week, kind of preview that game, get you guys ready. So Florida being 15, that was the one that stood out to me. Florida has the hardest schedule in college football. DJ Lagway, a lot of excitement there. They ended the season really well last year. Florida has a ton of talent. They just have a crazy, crazy hard schedule. When you play Miami and Florida in the non-conference, or Florida State in the non-conference, man, that is very tough. I think, I look at a team in the top 25 that I think will drop out pretty quick. I do see it being Tennessee. I'm not very high on Tennessee this year, but that's kind of where I'm at. So what I wanted to do, get this poll in front of everybody. You're watching this Monday, August 11th. That means it just came out. There's not been a lot of reaction. I want this to be one of the first places you go for college football news. So we had to break it. We had to bring it out onto the show and kind of just show where we're at. So we will have another show later this week. My college football playoff predictions with my conference winner predictions as well will be out later this week, most likely Thursday, August 14th. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this, I guess, impromptu show on the Tate's Take channel. Like I asked, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot, and the feedback I'm getting is great. Please keep giving it, and I really appreciate that. And we will see you later this week on another show of the Tate's Take. Have a great day.